Welcome to the Roto Joe's Fantasy Football Podcast tonight, guys. Coming up on week 4, going over some betting, some fantasy football, everything in between. Real quick, how do you feel, Caden, about betting early versus betting late in the week? So, Monday, Tuesday when the lines first come out versus Saturday night, Sunday morning.
So I feel like there's advantages to both sides. First of all, I don't think your camera's on. Second of all, there's advantages to each side. So here's the deal: when you bet early in the week, you have the opportunity to get one over on them. I feel like you'll get better lines sometimes because you don't know. Weather changes, players' statuses change. A lot of factors can go in. So I feel like betting early in the week, you get the better lines. Sometimes, if you're a go for it all type of person, betting early in the week is better for you. I feel like I'm kind of getting to the point where I like to bet like Sunday morning, and the reason being is, a lot of what we just talked about. Players, Sunday morning pretty much who's going to play, who's not going to play, the weather at that point. One thing that I have noticed is a lot of these sportsbook apps, they'll start throwing out those odds boosts early Sunday morning. So something you would have bet on Thursday, if you put a lot of money on it on Thursday, you're not going to get the same odds as on Sunday. DraftKings is one big on that. They'll throw out like a 50% profit boost. They love to do that shit. For whatever reason, I think it's location specific. So for us, I get a lot of Chiefs parlay boost, whatever, for whatever fucking reason. And a lot of times that'll play into your favor. I mean, you get something you're going to bet anyway, you throw a 50% profit boost in there. I mean, that's great revenue there. For me, yeah, like I said, I'm getting to the point where it's later in the week that I like to do it Sunday morning, really just pin down everything I'm going to do because I have more information then. But earlier in the week, you might be able to sneak one on them.
Yeah, I like to do two things. So I'll go early in the week on something. So like something I targeted early this week is one, Minnesota, New Orleans under 44.5, knowing MT was hurt, knowing Jameis was hurt, knowing that they're in London and they're playing really, really, really early in the morning for their time, even though they've been there for a few days. But then I also do Sunday morning as well. So I'll do all my anytime touchdown scores Sunday morning. So like tomorrow I'll probably hit a Khalil Herbert, Jamal Williams. I like Jackson Reynolds on the Lions. I like his anytime touchdown line. I have a Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen anytime touchdown parlay in the fucking monsoon up there in Baltimore. So I do both. And I think there's advantages to both. I really don't. I wouldn't advise anyone to make all their bets early because you just don't know all the information. And that's bit me in the ass once already, a couple of times. And it's easy to do. So I usually don't bet much early, but Sunday morning is when I usually go through and do all
I think it's
Go ahead.
I think it's a good position to get information and kind of see what you're working with and see if anything sticks out to you. That's really my biggest advice for betting early in the week. I feel like, if you just see something retarded, as far as the odds, go ahead and take it. I'm not really sure, as we're kind of getting into some of the other apps that we've never had access to before. I'm not really sure how they do it. Like, if I were to bet on Thursday, if I were to bet a Michael Thomas anytime touchdown, some apps will refund that to you because he's not playing, and some won't. And I think that goes a lot into just knowing what platform you're on. Like, I remember Sleeper last year, there was times where, I thought I was going to get one on him because I bet an under on someone I knew was going to be out. And then they just refund that to me. So I guess you got to know what you're playing on and what you're doing.
Yeah. You want to know the most profitable betting strategy I've had this year?
What's that?
You'll like this one, betting the KU money line. Top 25 team, Texas who?
Texas up 4 scores on West Virginia. with a back.
By 3 scores, we're gonna kick your guys' ass. Just like we're gonna kick Oklahoma's ass. We are only gonna lose to Baylor. I'm calling it now. 11-1 playing in the Big 12 championship.
Ooh.
That might change in 2 weeks. We play TCU and Oklahoma. We'll learn a lot these next 2 weeks. But honestly, as a KU fan, we're gonna be bowl eligible this year. That I didn't think that was in reach this year. And I'm a diehard, so it's pretty fun either way.
Well, you got to think about it. I think there's like 41 or 42 bowls, so they need 84 teams.
Six wins get you there.
6 wins get you somewhere. You might be for the,
We're going potato bowling.
But yeah, who knows? I don't even know what all those are fucking called anymore.
I don't like how it's set up, but hey, I'll take being bowl eligible.
Yeah, no, I think they absolutely are. I mean, they're playing well. They were a field goal away from losing this one, but it was a much better team than they've played. They outlasted it. They'll probably beat the brakes off Oklahoma, because Oklahoma is just not very good.
We're gonna run over them.
If I have a most hated NCAA team, it's gonna always be Oklahoma. Just so you know, Quinn Ewers will be back for Texas, Oklahoma. That boy knows what's important.
We'll see what happens when they play Kansas. All right, betting locks. Caden, your first lock of the week. Houston going up against the Chargers. You're taking under 45 there. Why is that a lock this week?
For me, man, I'm going on a couple facts. Our scoring, our offense is not really clicking. Dameon Pierce can't do it all. He's definitely breaking out. I think it's a couple games before he's a non, he's a guy we might talk about in the first couple rounds next year. But he can't do it all. Davis Mills has not been playing up to par. Inaccurate, bad decisions. I know the Chargers defense is banged up, but that doesn't even really. I think Davis Mills is playing so bad that that's not even really going to matter. And then on the other side of the ball, I kind of feel like Justin Herbert may not be all the way healthy. Keenan Allen's out. Austin Eckler's been inefficient. I mean, there's a lot of things to me that say bet the under on this. I think it doesn't matter where the game is, to be real honest with you. A lot of bad things on offense, both sides of the ball. The only chance they have in hell of going the over is if Justin Herbert wakes up with a second breath and just tears them to shreds, which I'm not going to say that's not possible, but it's more likely than not we're going to be under in this game.
Yeah, so the game's going to be in Houston. Herbert, yeah, I don't think he's just magically all the way 100%. I see an avenue where this game is a lot of running, a lot of Eckler. I think we see some Sony Michel. I like Sony Michel anytime touchdown this week. Houston's not going to be able to handle the Chargers defense. That's just that. So yeah, you have to think they're going to try to preserve Herbert a little bit and not use him much unless they absolutely need to. So yeah, I like the under here as well. Houston's looked really bad. It's actually a little disappointing. I thought their offense was going to be a tad bit better. It's just not.
Here's the thing with Houston, we've got bright spots for sure. I think our secondary is really good. I'm really impressed with our offensive line this year. Dameon Pierce is what we thought he was going into the season. So there's some bright spots. I mean, we have a lot of holes to fill, but even just seeing a couple position groups do pretty well versus last year, it's nice to see. Petrie and Stingley, I was texting you earlier, that's going to be some dogs for some years. So definitely like to see some at least progress. And we knew Lovie Smith wasn't going to come in there and change the world, but he's doing okay.
Yeah. As a New England fan, I'm just in hell right now. This is payback for 20 years of goodness. I think right now we're getting paid back for the 28-3 incident, but it'll be over soon. You know what? We need to draft Kansas's quarterback, Jalen Daniels. He's Lamar Jackson 2.0 for those of you who aren't woke. But where I don't think we're going to do that. I hate Mac Jones, though. He is not, I don't like him. Not very good.
I would take a Ramondre Stevenson anytime this week. I would.
Who are we playing? I don't even, this is how much I've
Like
disengaged.
Green Bay?
We are playing Green Bay. Their defense is going to light us up. We have no Jacoby Myers either. We might not score a touchdown. You're giving us a lot of credit. Can't get an anytime touchdown when we don't get fucking close. Matt Patricia calls this offense. It's terrible. It's fucking bad. It's like high school football.
Well, and it's going to be the situation where Bill Belichick has done so many great things. They're just going to let him go as long as he wants to, not as long as he needs to. And I think that's going to be the problem is 5 years from now, they're going to be just bottom dwelling. And they're not going to have the heart to tell Bill, hey, dude, you're 78 fucking years old or however old he'll be at that point. You need to fucking sit down. Like Pete Carroll. It's Pete Carroll.
I would love to fire Bill Belichick and hire Kyle Shanahan. Because Shanahan might get fired in San Francisco, depending how this Trey Lance fiasco ends up.
He didn't want Trey Lance. Shit.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's such a good coach that you just don't fire him. I think he is, but
he is too.
I don't know. All right, my first lock. I have Buffalo in Baltimore. This game going under 51 points. So I tweeted a thread about this. I said, let's be weather smart this weekend. Hurricane Ian just came through. This is a Category 4 hurricane. Touched land Wednesday. What happens 4 or 5 days after a hurricane all up and down the East Coast? Storms. It's normal. So, in Baltimore, right now, or not right now, but Sunday, the weather is looking like 40-mile-per-hour gusts, 20-mile-per-hour constant winds, raining all up and down. There's a coastal storm advisory / warning for all the East Coast right now. Both teams can run a little bit. I don't think they're going to score like 10 points, but I don't think they're putting up 51 either. Like I said earlier, I like the Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen anytime touchdown lines. J.K. Dobbins still isn't super healthy. It's going to probably be a little slick out there. And then Josh Allen, who's the best running back on that team? James Cook isn't ready. Singletary's not great. And Zach Moss is Zach Moss. I think Allen's going to be heavily involved in the run game.
Yeah. I mean, we saw, that's one thing. That's a good point to bring up. Weather. I mean, that plays a huge factor in some games. I remember a game last year when, it was one of those weeks where I was just busy as hell. And I think it was a Thursday night Patriots-Bills game or Monday night. And it was like a fucking blizzard. And you were texting me, you're like, bet the under. And everything, just bet the under. And then you hit big on it. I wasn't paying enough attention to even know. So I clicked this game on, and dude, it's fucking, it's goddamn Antarctica out there. And yeah, so I mean, you guys got to pay attention to those type of things. That's easy money right there in my mind. I mean, you got to think back to that even as recently as that 49ers Bears game, week 1. Everybody and their mama who would have been paying any kind of attention. I didn't give a shit about a Bears 49ers game, but had I looked at the weather, I'd have smashed the under on pretty much all of it, to be real honest with you. Yeah, big wins are bad for anything but a run game. Yeah, it's going to be a heavy run game. That's the way I see it. I think it's going to be Josh Allen getting in the end zone. I think it's going to be Lamar getting in the end zone. Some of those guys, like if you got Mark Andrews, you can't not play him. But you got to temper your expectations a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of passing. We'll talk about it later. I might have been fucked, but I'm going to adjust it tonight. I'm going to do some switching around, and we'll talk about it later. I have a crazy field goals parlay, and I could only get it done on Barstool Sportsbook. like plus 2,000, and it's really not that unlikely, especially with my substitution. I kind of got fucked with this weather shit, but the idea is good. All right, your next lock: Vikings minus 3.5 in London going up against New Orleans with no Jameis, no Michael Thomas. Kamara is playing though.
So my thing is the Vikings have a good defense. They've definitely turned the corner as far as that goes. Yeah, no Michael Thomas, no Jameis. You're relying on Andy Dalton, which we've seen him over the years. And here's the thing, Andy Dalton gets a lot of hate. He's just another one of those guys, kind of like Jared Goff. He's not good. He's not great. He's not bad. He won't lose you games, but he sure as fuck won't win them for you. And that's kind of where I stand on that. I think it'll be a heavy Kamara game if he can. I'm kind of wondering at this point if Kamara's lost a step or two. He's kind of on my concern list, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm kind of concerned that he's got a lot of mileage on him. He really does. And I don't know if at this point in his career he can carry that fucking team to a win. And that's kind of what I'm thinking in this game. Andy Dalton sure isn't going to scare anybody with the pass game. So I guess we'll just kind of have to find out. But that's a line I like this week. I like the Vikings by a touchdown.
So here's a counterpoint. Jameis doesn't like to check down. That's well established. That's quarterback one, Jameis Winston. Now, well, I guess not counterpoint to the Vikings. I think the Vikings minus 3.5 is right. We're talking about Kamara right now, fantasy-wise. So, Jameis doesn't like to check down, and they've had really tough. Last game, that was a weird, funky game for them. Jameis is hurt. And Kamara's just coming back from an injury. I think that, this game, he's going to go off. I have an anytime touchdown. It's plus 150. I'll take that all day long. Andy Dalton's going to check down to him every time. Now, is the offense going to look good? Fuck no. It didn't look good with Jameis and MT. They're going to have to figure that part out. Pete Carmichael, I wasn't sure if you'd be able to really notice if Sean Payton was gone or not, but you can definitely tell that Pete Carmichael's calling the plays. It's just not the same. But yeah. I do think Kamara has a good week. I don't necessarily think he's dead. He's actually a buy low for me, but I understand why some people are hesitant. He doesn't have that much mileage on him past last year. He only has 220 plus carries one time. So I like Kamara as a buy low potentially. Like this week, like I said, I think he's going to go absolutely off.
Oh yeah, I think he has a good week, but ultimately, I don't think at this point he is able to carry that team. I mean, they're struggling on the offensive line. They lost a big piece with Armstead going to.
It's also noticeable.
Yeah, very noticeable. I mean, they did what they needed to do. They went and took an offensive tackle in the first round. I mean, a rookie ain't going to be able to do what he did. That's kind of where I stand with it. I definitely like the Vikings by a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in the Saints. I was expecting more. They might turn it around. Jameis might just be hurt, but Michael Thomas has looked good.
Well, the Saints have always kind of been like the Packers, with especially when they had Breeze. They won a championship and then just got close a whole lot. That's kind of what they did. Now they're not. And
that's good. Yeah, that's a good comparison. I like that. All right, my last lock, and I'm just going to check the live odds right now. So when I got in on this, I had Arizona +1 going up against Carolina in Carolina. Now, I placed that bet and didn't even think about the weather in Carolina. However, it is not going to be bad at all. That storm is going to move past them by Sunday, whereas it's just now hitting that northern part of the U.S. Now, Arizona is -1.5, so you're not going to get those +1 odds anymore probably, but I still like them -1.5. Carolina is fucking bad. And Arizona's played bad too. Arizona has not looked good. Kyler's looked bad. There's, mumbling going on about Kingsbury getting fired. I think that they're going to treat this like a get-right game. And I don't think Cliff's a great NFL coach. When he goes against other good coaches, he looks bad. But Matt Rule sucks. Matt Rule's a college coach. This is his fucking wheelhouse. I think he's going to kick the shit out of Matt Rule, like play calling wise. So, yeah, I really like this Arizona win. I'm a little higher on them than I think they've shown this year, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl team either.
No, they're absolutely not a Super Bowl team at the moment. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins comes back and that rejuvenates something for them. As far as this week goes, I absolutely like Arizona to cover the spread. They're a frustrating team for me too, in the fact that the potential's all there. Like Kyler Murray has the capability of being, right there with Lamar. Right there with Jalen Hurts. He's better than Jalen Hurts. Let's just be honest. And I think that's what frustrates me is they have a lot of good pieces. They've just never really been able to put it together. And you can blame Kingsbury. I think Kyler Murray lacks some leadership. I think there's a lot of things that go into that. You could go a lot of different avenues with it. But as far as this week, I don't like the Panthers at all, really. I think Baker Mayfield is somehow worse than Sam Darnold. I think, honestly, the best quarterback they've had in a while was probably Kyle Allen since, Cam Newton. There's just a lot of questions for me is how is Baker that bad? I saw a lot of stats on Baker over the weekend, and it was just a lot of inefficiency stats. Like, I can't really depict certain numbers, but it was like his like best 5 games, worst 5 games, something, blah, blah, blah. And then they just broke it down really line by line. And I'm like, holy fuck, Baker sucks.
I thought Baker might be all right, but he's just bad.
I was hoping he was more average than that was kind of my hope. Ultimately, he's not it. They'll be looking for a quarterback next year. Honestly, I kind of want Sam Darnold to come back because at least he targeted DJ Moore a little bit more than not. So,
would we be talking about Odell differently if he didn't play with the Browns?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, he wasted. Yeah, he wasted years of his career, and so did Jarvis Landry. And it's unfortunate because, like, Baker, they just went quarterback. They went the wrong. I mean, Josh Allen was in that draft. I don't think Josh Allen would have turned out like he did if he would have went to Cleveland, though. I think Cleveland's a fucking quarterback killer, and it doesn't matter who the coach is. It doesn't matter who the there's no. It's just like the Jets. There's no way to really pin a real reason to it, but it is what it is. Well, name a successful Browns quarterback. Name a successful Jets quarterback, and don't say Joe Namath.
Deshaun Watson.
He hasn't even goddamn played yet, and that offense is kind of shaky. So I'm really curious if he's going to be able to succeed in it.
Oh, I don't know. They've looked good. Njoku's going to be the dog. Just wait. Njoku tied in 1 season. I'm going to bully ball tight end with David Njoku and Mark Andrews in our Dynasty League. I'm already decided that. So, yeah, that's going to happen in the playoffs. Stay woke. All right. Caden, your parlay for the week. I have a Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown. Colts under 43.5 points. Colts money line. Odds on this guy is plus 1,100.
I love an 1,100 parlay. Here's my reasoning behind this one. Both offenses have struggled in the pass game. They both struggled to win games. Colts really squeaked one out against the Chiefs last week. Titans, they've been struggling since day one. Here's the constant factor between them both is these are 2 of the best running backs in the league. I really feel like I really hope that they've understood that their passing game on both sides just isn't very good, and they rely a lot more on the run game. I expect this to be a heavy, trading punches type of game. Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry haven't gotten off to the starts this year that we expected. I think it's kind of a get-right game for both of them. The under is just that, I mean, this isn't going to be a high electric offense type of game. Ryan Tannehill and Matt Ryan aren't going to go out there and fucking sling it out. I think it's going to be a heavy run game, low scoring, and ultimately, I think the Colts come out on top. And it purely a defensive standpoint, I think the Colts have a better defense than the Titans, so that's what's going to win.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I do think we'll see Henry touchdown, Taylor touchdown. The only thing would be the Titans could potentially win this, but they're pretty bad. I don't think so, but I could see how that could impact that a little bit. I have one like that too. I think I lost one. I think I lost mine for the week, but it was a good idea. And I'll talk about how I'm going to change it. I do like Rizzo. That's a good likely plus 1100 bet. I mean, with those good of an odds, that's for me that's really good. All right, mine 5 legs. It's a little complicated. First, Bears and Giants under 3.5 field goals in New York. They're under a coastal flood advisory until 8 p.m. on Sunday. 20-mile-per-hour winds with 41-mile-per-hour gusts. Good luck. Jets at Steelers. Under 3.5 field goals, and then each team under 1.5 field goals. This game, 7-mile-per-hour normal winds with 23-mile-per-hour gusts. Now, I might get fucked on this. Earlier, 2 days ago, it was 40-mile-per-hour gusts and 20-mile-per-hour winds. However, 23-mile-per-hour gusts, that's pretty consistent. That's tough to kick in still. That's not easy. Last, Jacksonville at Philly, same deal. Under 3.5 field goals total, each team under 1.5 field goals. 18-mile-per-hour steady winds with 37-mile-per-hour gusts. I call that one, the wind is undefeated parlay. And those odds are plus 2,668. I felt really good about that. Really good about that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that same one and switch the Jets and Steelers game to the Baltimore Bills game. Because that's the 20-mile-per-hour constant with 40-mile-per-hour gusts. You can't kick in that.
No, you can't. Oh, wow. I mean, that's deep.
That's as degen as it gets.
The degen certified.
Wet.
I think, yeah, I mean, it all makes sense. There's very sound logic behind it because, I mean, you think anything in that kind of wind can't really be a thing. And if I doubt those are the kind of situations in those weather games where they're 30 yards out and they don't even fucking try to kick it.
Yeah, they just go for it.
Yeah, they just go. I mean, that's 4-down territory is that type of weather. So I definitely like that. The odds are unreal, and it's definitely something that, in my mind, speaks a big fuck it kind of situation. Why not? You know, you've bet stupider shit in your life. You know you have.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, your first love of the week, going into the fantasy side of things. You have CeeDee Lamb going up against Washington. Why do you love that this week?
Because everybody and their mama could get it on Washington, right? I think CeeDee Lamb kind of turned a corner last week. I think I still don't think he's what we thought he was, but he is at least getting into a point where he's productive. Washington secondary is garbage. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Even Cooper Rush can probably pick them apart. And I think CeeDee Lamb is going to be a huge part of that. I don't know if Gallup's back, but if he is, it's even better. Yeah, I think CeeDee Lamb, he's going to get to – I think he's really turned the corner to a point of being productive. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't think he's going to win your matchup this week, but he's a guy that I'm not – at least like 2 weeks in, I was like, fuck, do I sit this guy? You know? And if you got a question on DJ Moore, any league where I can afford it, I'm going to sit him. That's just kind of where it is. Like, I love DJ Moore. I'm a big DJ Moore truther, but I'm going to fucking sit him. And if a couple weeks ago, if I had the opportunity to sit CeeDee Lamb, I probably would. Chances are, given his ADP, you probably don't have that luxury. So yeah, this is a week I'm firing him up. I have no problem. If you bet on one of those spreads where you got to pick an MVP for a game, I'm probably going CeeDee Lamb in this game. I just don't think I don't think Washington can hold him. I think he's really building on something, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I think it's CD season. I mean, everyone was kind of talking shit when he had, 8, 9, 10, 11 targets through 2 weeks, but didn't really do much. I understood it, but he was getting so many targets that it's like the guy's going to figure it out. I mean, he's a good receiver. He's not bad. If he's getting peppered with targets, but you can take that.
Yeah,
And, last week we saw he caught a touchdown. He drops a few balls. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Terrell Owens, but without the spectacular catching. But like the dropping balls you shouldn't, just like Tia used to. But yeah, I think he's gonna cook Washington. Washington has not been good. Carson Wentz sucks. If there's I don't know if the over under is for sacks for Washington, like Washington getting sacked. I'd take the over on that then, unless it's like 4.
dude, Parsons is a monster. We all knew he was gonna be. I mean,
he sucks.
They're low on defense. I mean, and I'm kind of one of those guys that I'd take it if there was a line to take an over on Trayvon Diggs coverage yards. Fucking A, I'd take the over. That dude gets cooked regularly, but he gets interceptions. So,
hey, guess what just got announced? Guess who's hosting game day next week?
us?
Those Hawks.
Fuck it. I thought
They're
you
gonna be ranked.
game day.
If we wore burnt orange and white, we'd be a top 10 team with our resume, but we don't wear those colors.
Oh, fuck off. No.
All right. My first love. I have Khalil Herbert, former Jayhawk Khalil Herbert, going up against New York. So, the Giants, New York football Giants. So, former Jayhawk Khalil Herbert, I just want to make that apparent. He transferred to Virginia Tech his last year, but I remember watching that guy on the team that we got our asses kicked back in the yesteryears. Not anymore. Just so you guys know, we're 5-0. We don't lose anymore. Herbert has looked absolutely amazing in limited play this year. 7.3 yards per carry in his 3 games on 33 carries. He's top 10 in all kinds of analytics. Fantasy points per opportunity, Duke rate, yards per carry, 2 yards per carry, just absolutely blowing it up right now. And he's playing behind David Montgomery, who's good but not great. Now, Montgomery's out. He's going to get all these carries. And guess what? And this is going to kind of be business as usual for the Bears. I guess they don't like to pass. But Khalil Herbert's going to see the ball a lot in this weather. I mean, they already weren't throwing. They might not throw this game. I wouldn't be surprised. So I really like Khalil Herbert this week. New York's the 28th team in rush DVOA in the league, so they're not good against the run. I think Herbert is going to cook them. I like Chicago to win this game outright.
Really?
They're built better for this. I hate to say that, but they are built better for this. Saquon is good, but what does Saquon run like? He's explosive. And he does so well because he's able to make extra things out of plays. Well, when it's fucking rainy as shit and it's windy, I just don't think that he's going to be quite as able to make all of these big plays. You're going to have to consistently sustain drives in this weather. And Chicago's done that against some good teams. They're not good, but they've already played in weather like this against the 49ers. They already have a plan going in.
Yeah, Khalil Herbert to me, like when I watch him play, he just reminds me of Darren Sproles. Tiny little electric motherfucker. That's just kind of the vibe that I get when I watch. Yeah, he's proven to be efficient. He's proven to be honestly better than David Montgomery. Chicago apparently isn't ready for that conversation, so we'll just let that one slide. I like him as a solid running back 2 option this week. especially with Montgomery out. And you know, I like that you talked about the fact they don't like to throw the ball. At this rate, I mean, I know they've won a couple games, but I couldn't see Eberflus like sticking there. I couldn't see that being a long-term answer. But I guess any coach that goes to Chicago really long-term answer. So it's unfortunate because Justin Fields can fucking ball.
I wonder
Yeah,
what
he
he
could.
looked like on the 49ers.
Oh, he'd fucking slay on the 49ers, dude.
He was way more proven than Lance was.
Yeah, absolutely, because he played fucking football. You know? I'm a big Justin Fields fan, but they're not utilizing him right. They don't like to throw. You sprinkle in the weather. Yeah, big Herbert game. So absolutely fire that one up with confidence. That would be a good anytime touchdown. If I've just grown really partial to an anytime touchdown line.
That's what I do. That's my money maker. I get fucked on the spreads and the over-unders. But anytime touchdowns, I mean, I've sent them to you. I'll hit
I don't
3
know.
or 5 of those on a Sunday.
I don't know if it was last week, but I just took one and I took a Dalvin Cook touchdown. I took a Dameon Pierce touchdown, and I took a Travis Kelce touchdown. Made it a 3-leg parlay. It was like a goddamn like $3 or $4 bet. I don't remember what I bet. I was just fucking around though, and I won like $75. I mean, that's what it built the odds up to. So those anytime touchdowns, dude, those are money.
Yeah, no, those are the way to go. That's what I like to do Sunday morning, just anytime touchdowns.
Oh yeah.
I'll look at the spreads and just go down and look at the numbers on the anytimes and just pick out what I like. All right, your next love, Jamal Williams versus the Seahawks. Why do you love Jamal this week?
So Jamal Williams, he has proven to be a fantasy asset even behind Swift. Seattle's rush defense is fucking garbage. You know he's going to get in there for at least a touchdown or two. They're lacking on offensive weapons, just means more opportunity for Jamal Williams. You know, Jamal Williams has really been a disrespected person as far as, I mean, I feel like Jamal Williams could go to at least 5 or 8 other teams and probably start. That's kind of where I'm at with him. You know, he's that guy that we constantly overlook, but yeah, he's been productive even behind Swift. You sprinkle in the fact that Seattle's fucking garbage on defense. I love it this week. I'm firing him up as a running back too with no problem.
Yeah, I like Jamal Williams a lot this week too. He's number 1 in the NFL in red zone opportunities. That's crazy. Swift gets him down there and Williams punches it in. He's been an asset for him. The Lions look good. They look like a football team.
Yeah, it looked like
a long time. They're cooking with fire over there. I think Williams is going to be, I mean, at least for when Swift's out, the low end RB1 week to week. And it's not really close. Real quick, Jamal Williams minus 135 or Craig Reynolds plus 170 anytime touchdown. Which one do you like better?
I gotta go with Jamal Williams. I don't know who the fuck Craig Reynolds is. I mean, I know he's the third guy.
He played well last year for him. They really like him. I actually like the Craig Reynolds one better. I'd rather double my money with that. I think he finds the end zone. He's good. He's not good, but the Seahawks are bad, and he's decent at it.
I really think I think this is a bad week for Jared Goff. I think he's got a lot of weapons out, and I don't think he's the kind of quarterback that can. He's not the kind of quarterback that can produce in adversity. He's just not. So I think Jamal Williams is going to be the focal point of this offense, and I think they win. Yeah, the Lions look like a fucking football team. And I used to not really give a shit, but Dan Campbell's the kind of guy you want to root for, so it's good. You love to see it, you know.
Yeah, I like Dan Campbell a lot. He's a cool guy. I liked watching him on Hard Knocks. That was pretty good. He was awesome on there. All right, my last love. I have James Robinson going up against the Eagles. I have to admit something. I was wrong on James Robinson. Now, I'm usually not wrong on the Achilles thing. Cam Akers, he looks bad still. But James Robinson is the RB3 in fantasy points per game right now in PPR scoring. That's crazy. And he's only playing 60% of the snaps. It's not like he's playing 80% of the snaps. He just happens to have the goal line work locked up, and he's getting all the early down stuff, and ETN's just playing third down role. But he's been playing well. Now, we talked about it earlier. Philadelphia, coastal storm advisory, wind, crazy. Trevor Lawrence, they're not going to let Trevor Lawrence throw a lot in that environment. He's been playing too well. They don't want to hurt his confidence. I think we're going to see a lot of James Robinson. Now, Philly is good on defense, very much so. This is going to be a weird, funky game. I think Robinson will at least break one loose, not loose, but get in the end zone once. He's not fast enough to break anything loose. I think that he's the only way they're going to score. Him or ETN, and I think Robinson's built better for this type of game. So, yeah, I love playing Robinson this week.
Yeah, I have to admit I was wrong on that one too. I mean, he's really performing. I think it puts Jacksonville in a very odd situation. You know, if they learn how to channel that, where they have a great receiving back, they have a great rushing back, they could really do damage in the future. I don't know if they'll be able to really, hone that in, but I'd hate to see ETN become the next Naheem Hines, but maybe that's what it is. Who really knows? But I was definitely wrong on James Robinson. I thought his injury would at least hamper him the first half of the season. Missed that one, but yeah, this week that's their only shot. You're absolutely right. Now, my only concern is the Eagles do have a pretty nasty defense. That one will be interesting to me. I would, if I had two better options, I'd probably take them, to be real honest, just because of the weather and just because of the defense that the Eagles have. But James Robinson is really not ever a bad part. So I'm kind of on the fence on that one.
Yeah, I was too. I just, like I said, I think this is going to be a weird game. These games are always weird. I don't think having the better defense in normal weather is one thing, but when it's slick out on the field, things just kind of change a little bit. And maybe that goes bad for Jacksonville. They might not score anything. It might be like 0-10. That's in range of outcomes. Philadelphia is built better for an offense, for sure.
Yeah, they know.
Right. Your hate, Matt Stafford going up against 49ers. Monday Night Football. Why don't you like Stafford?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the 49ers have like a top 5-ish secondary, passing secondary.
I'm going to pull it up right now as we talk.
I think it's like third. I might be wrong.
So, I'm pulling up the DVOA right
now. They have a very good defense. My opinion on Stafford is I think people figured it out. Stafford's good for a pick to 3 picks a game. I don't know what it is. He just, and we talked about it earlier, he just doesn't see anybody but Cooper Kupp. And that's great for everybody who has Cooper Kupp. But if you got Matt Stafford, you're like, motherfucker, stop throwing to the other goddamn team. Huge struggles across the offensive line this year. Run game really isn't helping him out any. I mean, like I said before, I'd take Darrell Henderson over Cam Akers, just because I think he's better suited for what they're doing. But that doesn't really look like the Los Angeles Rams that won the Super Bowl last year. It really does.
Okay, so the 49ers are 5th in pass DVOA on defense. So, yeah, top 5.
Top 5. That's what I thought. Good secondary. They are I don't think Matt Stafford's going to beat him. He will not look at Allen Robinson, which is a problem. Cooper Kupp, he's going to get open. He's going to do his things. But ultimately, Matthew Stafford to me this week is nothing more than a streamer. I'd hate to be in a situation where I had to play him, but injuries happen, and you're faced with what you're faced with. I mean, I just think he's not what he was last year. Last year, we all knew he was going to go batshit fucking crazy and slay the league, and he did that. But I think some things have happened this year. The offensive line, I think Cooper Kupp is still Cooper Kupp, but he's only one person. I think Odell helped that team more than people realize. And the problem is Allen Robinson every bit as good, but you don't trust him for whatever reason.
He's not looking his way. He's been open. Matt Stafford has the 31st worst protection rate in the NFL. So that is just what percentage of your dropbacks are you throwing in 3 seconds or less. So that's not good. That is not good. I don't like Stafford until we see something different. I think that elbow thing was legit. Like all that elbow injury news, I think that really mattered more than people realize.
Bigger to talk about.
Do what?
Bigger deal than they wanted to make it.
Yep. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, this is a way different offense. Way different offense. So I'm going to talk about both of my two hates because they kind of go in tandem. I was kind of trying to go for a theme here in terms of the whole play with the weather pattern. I have Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk going up against Philadelphia. We've already talked about it. Crazy storm. Trevor Lawrence has arrived before we start. Trevor Lawrence has arrived. He's here. This man is going to be amazing. If you bought low on Dynasty, good job. Like, that was smart because he's going to be cold. All right. Now, this game, though, lots of rain, windy. I don't think they're going to let Lawrence throw it much. I think we're going to see him in the run game a little bit. Trevor Lawrence anytime touchdown, maybe. I bet that's a good line. He hasn't been used much on the run game yet. But it's just not going to be a good passing game. And then Christian Kirk, who I think is a wide receiver too, rest of season, no questions asked. He's just not going to be, not enough passing to sustain any type of real production fantasy-wise. I would honestly rather start Jackson Reynolds out of Detroit over Christian Kirk this week. And I would really think about Andy Dalton over Trevor Lawrence.
Damn. That's some real claims there. I mean, I agree with it. Here's where we're at. I think Trevor Lawrence has arrived, and we all knew Doug Peterson was going to be better for him than Urban Meyer was, so it's not really that big of a surprise to me. I've always been a Trevor fan. Generational talent, but this week I just don't think it's there. Bad matchup, bad weather. I don't like it at all. If I had to guess, I'd bet it's a good game for ETN and James Robinson. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is really the rushing quarterback. I probably wouldn't take that anytime touchdown for him, just given the situation. But yeah, I agree with both of those, and I think if you're in a situation where you could do something else, always, we've been talking about it the whole show. Just play the weather. I mean, play the weather better than your opponent because those are the kind of games you just want nothing to do with.
How fast do you think Trevor's 40 time was?
Fucking A. 4.8?
4.61.
Not bad for a white dude.
Trevor, he's sneaky athletic. Gets to work early. You'd want him to date your daughter. He's one of those type of guys.
No, I don't.
All right, your last hate: Clyde Edwards-Helaire versus Tampa.
So here's my thing with it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is very touchdown dependent. I think, what is he, running back 7 on the year or something really stupid.
Just pulled up. I'm sure he is a top 12 running back.
He is, but he shouldn't be.
So he is running back 4 in PPR scoring.
That's fucking stupid.
With 115 rushing yards and 115 receiving yards.
He's touchdown dependent is what it is he just gets lucky on a couple of these little shake and go receiving touchdowns. I'm a big Clyde hater these days. And honestly, I just don't think this is a game. I think it's gonna be more of a, anytime Tampa and Kansas City gets together, I think it's gonna be more of a shootout. That front seven for Tampa Bay is still nasty. I mean, we got to understand that their secondary is where they get burned. And I think Clyde's time comes to an end. I would sell high if I had some Clyde. I have no Clyde Edwards Hilaire shares. I'll just tell you, I have a nut. But if I had some, I'd be trying to sell high. That's just kind of the point we're at. I mean, all the time, players will have a good few games. You need to get out, and this is one of those situations. Preferably before he goes out there tomorrow and doesn't do dog shit. And that's what I got to say about that.
So it could go one of two ways. I think there's the potential for him to be an not elite, but very good receiving back. But I don't know if he's going to get the target share for that to be meaningful game to game. Right now, he is touchdown dependent. Less than 10 carries, 5 targets, 1 game out of 3. So if he'll see 5 targets, I feel better about that. If he's only seeing anything under that, it's a bust. Now, Tampa's a good defense. I don't think he's going to get loose on Tampa. I agree that he's a sit here. But the rest of the season, I wouldn't want him on my team. I'd be trying to trade him away right away.
Yeah, so his value will never be more than it is right now. I mean, everybody's got to understand that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Anything else we want to hit, Caden?
Man, I hope all your parlays hit. I'm just trying to help everybody take every goddamn last dollar from DraftKings and FanDuel and MGM or whatever platform you're on. Make sure if you've watched it to this point in the pod, go down there, click the subscribe button so you can stay in on every episode.
For sure. We appreciate all our subscribers. Rock Chalk, KU's going to be ranked. We'll see tomorrow, guys. Here's over under 24.5 on the ranking.
Say what?
Are we going to be number 25 or are we going to be higher?
I'm going to go over. I'm going to say 24.
That's offensive. I bet we are ranked
number 4.
19. I have 19. I think there are some great teams that got beat today. And that Iowa State win was big. That was a huge win for the program.
That was a big win. The kicker probably is going to transfer schools for Iowa State, but
that was bad. Hey, we take it. 2 of them were long though. 2 of them were 40+ yards, and for a college kid, that's tough. Now the one at the end of the game to tie, yeah, he fucking tricked that.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to go to fucking Butler County Community College after this. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to go 24. I think they should be ranked. They've been playing really well. I don't hate Kansas. I know how it is. I've lived in Kansas long enough to know that at some point there's going to be the end of the Cinderella story, so to speak. And I really thought it was going to be this week, but maybe it's going to be when Texas beats the dog shit out of them in November. Who knows?
All right, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.